Alright, so today I'm going to be doing another Q&A video. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I've been sent in a bunch of really awesome questions through my Instagram and the YouTube community section, so thank you for everyone that's sending questions. Let's get into them. Alright, so let's get right into it. First question, is it difficult to build a social circle in Thailand? Who are your regular friends? And did you have to distance yourself from people that only stay in the dry season? So I've very much handpicked my group of friends, and the majority of my friends now were my friends really early on. My closest friend here is Dan the man, and we became mates basically when I first moved out here. I probably hang out with him the most. I have Sam, who I'm sure many of you would know. Sam is my longtime personal friend. We were friends in Australia. I've known Sam for about 15 years, so Sam is my oldest and dearest friend. The rest of my friends, a lot of them are content creators or people that I've met that sort of live around here, and they're people that I wanted to align with, so I'm very selective who I spend my time with. I also have no problems cutting people off if I think they're no good, or they're a bad influence, or they're toxic, or whatever. If they don't align with me, I'm happy to cut people off too. That may sound really harsh, but the reality is if you live abroad, your friend circle is super important and basically defines who you are as a person too. In terms of how I met the majority of my friends, most of them I just reached out to personally via DM or via email or however, and just tried to build that relationship. Can you speak Thai? My Thai level is okay. Day to day, I'm okay. General things for what I do is fine. My partner isn't Thai, so we don't speak Thai at home. I also can't ask her questions. We speak English all the time. I do have Thai friends, and I can hold down just a small talk conversation, and day to day is all fine. But in terms of, I couldn't watch a TV show or anything without subtitles. I could probably follow along, but I would miss a lot of the context. On the girlfriend, is it easier for your Asian girlfriend in Thailand as opposed to you being a Westerner regarding visas, prices, and acceptance? No, she has to go through all the same kind of visa stuff that I do. She is a student. She will be finishing up university. She graduates this year. So she's on a student visa, and then they will put her onto a 1-year visa to be able to work. And then after that, it's up to her to find a company that is willing to sponsor her and sort of go from there. So no, there's no advantages to other Asian countries. You would think it would be easier, but it doesn't seem to be any easier. In terms of being able to get work and everything like that, having gone to university here, I think it will make it much easier. But again, the visa situation here is never a fun one. Has the increase of content creators around Thailand negatively impacted or helped your metrics? I don't really know. There is a lot. When I go on YouTube, sometimes I just go to see what's out there and see what people are doing. There is a lot going on out there. In terms of my metrics, I never really see anybody as direct competition. I think we all kind of help elevate each other. As long as there's more content and quality content coming out, that's okay. As long as you're not flooding with crap. I have an advantage because I've been at this for a few years now, so I'm, well established within the algorithm and the rapport that you build with the viewers, with the audience. I already have that, so it's a lot easier for me than it is for newer content creators that are coming out, and that just comes through time, hard work, and consistently making good videos. Lots of questions about the cat. Does the cat look forward to the drive? Lots of people are asking about it. Having the cat has been awesome. I love cats. Our cat is a real character. He does enjoy when going in the car and going for a drive. He's easy to take away. When we go on holidays down to Pattaya or wherever we go, there's pet-friendly hotels everywhere, so that's really easy. And he's a great traveler. Doesn't make a mess in the car, doesn't go to the toilet or anything in the car. He's fine to hang on until we get to where we need to go, so he's really well behaved for that. The first trip was a little rough, but he's now used to it. It's been a whole lot of fun having the cat. How much do I make on YouTube? I'll just go through some rough averages for this because I'm about to make an in-depth video on my complete earnings. I do that every year, and it's interesting to see how that sort of progresses each year. So my earnings on YouTube, my typical ad revenue that I would make is between $2,000 to $3,000 per month. Sponsors, I would say $3,000 to $4,000 per month. All my side hustles and affiliate links and everything like that is probably sort of $300-400. And then the professional work I do, well, that's not on YouTube, it's because of who I am on YouTube. Anywhere between $1,000 to $3,000 per month for that. last month as an example, I actually made just under, I made $900, but the month before that I made quite a bit. So the total for all that, because I don't know, I just said this off the top of my head, is this much here. I've also just launched a business last month, keeping that separate. We're a month into that. That has been incredibly successful, turned a really, really nice profit for the first month. So I won't include that for this, but I will include that for the next video when I do the in-depth one. I would say ballpark $8,000 to $10,000 per month total for all my complete earnings. A few car questions. Holden or Ford and what model? There was two Holden or Ford questions. I'm a Holden guy. My first car was a Holden Gemini. I've had two of them. I had a Holden Commodore, a VR Berliner. So yeah, Holden guy, what model? Oh, VR Commodore, I think. Such a cool looking car. I love that. I thought they were just the most awesome cars. I do really, really like VL turbos too, because it's a combination of an Australian muscle car being a Holden, and it's got a Nissan turbo engine in it, which I love. Where did you get the bride seat, or brid as it's actually pronounced? Where did you get the seats from? I got them from, what's the name of the market? Puntup Market. I've gotten a lot of car parts from there. They were great. They fitted them. They did all the work for me. A lot of stuff you can buy online, but I wanted to go see it, feel it, sit in it. So yeah, Puntup Market. Wasn't the best experience. They ended up charging me more than I originally thought I was going to get charged, but what do you do? You made the truck a two-seater. What happens if you travel with 3 or more people? I haven't actually. So in the back seat is a bench seat. It's not a proper bench seat. There's no seat belts back there. I put my sub in the middle, so you can still fit 2 small people in the back. My girlfriend can fit in the back quite fine, assuming that would be for 3 people. So that's a 12-inch sub in the middle, and then people can sit either side. We very, very rarely drive with 3 or more people. I got a friend staying with me from Korea at the moment. Last night we just drove up the road, so I don't really like having people back there anyway, because there's no seatbelts, and driving in Thailand is an experience on its own without the lack of seatbelts. So that is something I'm quite conscious of. But for a quick trip down the road, yeah, she fits in the back. What was the biggest hurdle you had to overcome from moving to Thailand from Australia? And what's a must see or do in the Philippines? So the biggest hurdle I had to overcome, not moving here, my first place I moved abroad when I moved to Korea, the biggest hurdle was actually just doing it, like making that decision. Yes, but typing the resignation letter to the job was the hardest part, because I procrastinated on that for years. I kept saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And life gets in the way. You get things like a promotion and you're earning more money, and something is always happening as a reason to not go. So you just need to block all of that out and actually do it. So for me, typing the resignation letter was the biggest step towards that. And then it's just a matter of selling everything or putting stuff in storage or parents' place, whatever, and then just going and doing it. Yeah, I think once the resignation letter is typed or you've started making those arrangements, it's all downhill from there. Things to do in the Philippines. For me, I love the people of the Philippines. The people in the Philippines are amazing. Some of the friendliest people in the world. So I like to just go on aimless walks, get out of the city, get out of the tourist areas, and go meet some locals, drink with locals, hang out. They're all super, super friendly and incredibly welcoming. Where do I get my t-shirts from? So I have a mix. This is a knockoff. I have a mix of original and knockoff stuff. Clothes don't last here with the heat. You know, you wear them one time, you sweat, you have to wash them. I don't know if it's about the quality of the water or whatever here, but none of my clothes last, real or fake. So because of that, I do buy a lot of the cheaper knockoffs, because they don't really last that long at all. The knockoff stuff I buy from MBK and online. They've got a really cool selection that's always changing, so it's fun to go there. Pay 250 baht per t-shirt, 10 Australian dollars for a t-shirt. That's a win. That way, if it only lasts a few months and I throw it out, like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I also buy rural clothes, and a lot of that I get from places like Foot Locker. They have really good sales on all the time. But again, the clothes don't last, so I'm hesitant to buy a $100 t-shirt or a $50 t-shirt if it's only going to last me the same amount of time as the $10 one. Did you go to the Coffee Expo? I did not. I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee person. I love caffeine. I have a Monster, one of these every morning. I know they're terrible for me. Save it. I just don't like coffee, never have. How do you feel about Thailand for those with children? Thailand is a great place if you have children, especially when they're really young, because you can get, like, if you want a nanny here, you can get a nanny for around 30,000, like a live-in nanny for 30,000 Thai baht a month. One of my close mates here has just had a baby, and they have a live-in nanny that does everything. She cares for the baby, looks after the baby, also cooks and does their washing and everything. This is amazing that you can get that for $1,000. Also things like, you know, if you want after school care or tutoring, all that is super, super affordable here. So Thailand is a great place for that. For me, if I had kids, I think I would want them here early, and then once they start getting into the education system, maybe I'd look at other countries for that. But Thailand does have really, really good international schools, but the cost of living thing just makes it so easy here. A couple of fun questions from Cookie. Where and how do you constantly find inspiration to record your videos? I have tons of ideas, and sometimes I just go up to my studio and I'll play music and brainstorm. I never struggle for ideas or for content. What I do have to do, however, is sort of mix it all up. I have videos that I want to do that excite me and may not necessarily get as many views, but I enjoy making them. I have videos that are purely for views. Ones like, you know, the channel's in a slump, or I put out a handful of bad videos in a row, or I need a boost in money and views and subscribers or whatever, I'll put out a video like a tourism collapsing, or a low season video, or something to do with the nightlife or something like that, because you're just guaranteed a whole lot of views. I also have videos that I make purely for my sponsors, and I need to get those concepts approved by them. So it's a mix, and it's a balancing act of making what I enjoy, making what's good for the algorithm, and making videos that pay the bills, basically. But I have a super long list of ideas in the notes on my phone. Sometimes they just come to me. I'll sort of get 4 or 5 ideas in a day, and other times I can go a week without getting any good ideas. But it's about harnessing that energy when you are being creative and you are having good ideas come to you. Then I go up to the studio, play some music, and you know, try and make the most of that energy. Would you, to this day, recommend people doing what you did and drop everything for a new life in Thailand? If it's right for you, yeah, because that was an incredible experience. It's like literally changed my life. But chasing adventure is something that really excited me and something I always wanted. I didn't care about money. I wanted, you know, life experience and fun and adventure over money and material things. Ideally, you can get to a place where you get both of those things, but, you know, to do that is pursuing, for me, it was always about pursuing fun and pursuing adventure over the money. I could have made a lot more money had I stayed back in Australia, but I chose the fun route. This is cool. This is coming from Sam, but it's relayed from someone else. If Keys One could have stayed in Australia, he'd probably be earning around $200,000 a year had I stayed in my old job and continued progressing. And he couldn't understand why I would want to do what I do for $100,000 a year rather than work in Sydney in the hotel game for 200 plus. I would much rather be living here on 50K, making $50,000 a year, than I would living in Australia on $200,000 a year. My quality of life here is incredible. I'm completely free. I haven't done any work for the last 3 days. One of my friends from Korea is here, and we're just having fun. This freedom is what inspires me. This adventure, freedom, not having any kind of responsibilities apart from paying rent and bills and everything like that. But this excites me way more than money, and I actually think earning $100,000 a year here is probably better than earning $200,000 a year in Sydney because of the cost of living difference. I'm sure I live a far greater quality of life here on what I earn than I would if I was back in Australia, earning even double what I'm earning now. There was another question on cost of living about how much, and there's a couple people like asking for advice on to move out here and the cost of living. I think you can live really, really comfortably on $2,000 a month. For me, that was the goal was always 1,000, but if I can get to 2,000, then I know I'm going to live comfortably. You can travel, you can save money. So anything above $2,000 US a month, you can live really comfortably here. What do you think is the most underrated area in Bangkok? And I almost don't want to say it because everyone's going to come, but the Thonburi district, loving it out this way. What do you think people get wrong about Thailand from watching YouTube? A lot of legal information always seems to be wrong. You know, people always hammering me in the comment section, oh, you need a work permit to make YouTube videos in Thailand, which you don't. Anything where the information is gathered from online, I think there's a whole lot of disconnect. I put out a video recently about tax and everything, and the advice I had was from an accountant here. So I know it's correct, but then people will spread misinformation, and unintentionally. It's just there is a lack of information and people take it as gospel. That and condo prices. People really overpay for condos and seem to brag about that all over social media. What advice would you give to someone that's never been there and wants to spend a year looking around and maybe moving over there as a 50-year-old? I would say don't pack up everything. If it's your first time, don't pack up everything and leave, because the expectation versus reality might be different. There's a good chance you're going to love it. I'm sure you will. Everyone does. You come to Thailand once and you fall in love with the place. But Thailand's not perfect, and it may not be for everyone. If you struggle with things like the heat or the air quality, or that it rains half of the year. If you're 50, I'm assuming you're quite mobile, but if you have mobility issues, getting around here can be really challenging. The sidewalks are a nightmare. You know, this is not a wheelchair friendly place at all. So my advice would be come out here, come for a holiday, even come spend a month or 2 months or whatever, but don't dive headfirst in unless you know that it's gonna work out for you here. Also gives you a bit of safety, so if it doesn't work out and you don't love it, you can just move back and come up with another plan. Okay, 2 more questions I will do. Have you checked out the motocross scene? I've been speaking with, so there's a motocross track down in Pattaya, and I'm speaking with them currently. I'm going to go for a ride very, very soon. I'm going to go, they have bikes and everything. I've got a set of gear here, so I'm going to go do that. I'm really nervous of the fact that I may just get really, really into it and want to start racing again, and that's a whole thing I don't want to go down, but I'm incredibly competitive, especially on a motorcycle, and my brain still thinks I can ride well, so if I show up and I'm faster than everyone, then I know a part of me inside is going to be like, well, maybe you should just do one race, and then it's the beginning of the end. But I am going down Pattaya MX, they're hooking me up, and I'm really, 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 really excited for that. And the last question is recommendations for other areas to live in Thailand, or other vloggers for families in Thailand. I think there's a real opportunity here. I'm sure there's family-friendly like vlog channels here. My good friend Gary Butler has a channel called, I believe it's called The Roaming Dad. I'll leave a link for it below. He does food reviews with his son, and that's really cool. I'm sure there's family channels out here. I'm not really into couple YouTube channels, so I don't really explore that avenue. But Gary with his kid, it's a really fun watch. They do not just food reviews, they go to water parks and stuff like that too, and hotels and everything. So yeah, check out Gary's second channel. And in terms of other areas to live, it really depends on the pace of life you want to live. If you want to live in Bangkok in the city, it's going to be a fast-paced life. You can come out to the suburbs, to the outskirts here, and slow down a little bit. Or if you want to really, really slow down, you can go to like Hua Hin. I would recommend finding places, if you want a different sort of pace of life, finding places that aren't super popular with tourists, but have a bit of an expat community. For me personally, I want to be in the city and I want to be within driving distance to the beach. So that's why Bangkok is perfect for me. But thinking outside the box, instead of going to Hua Hin, what about Cha Am? There's a few expats there. It's a beach place. Much slower pace of life, and just a really cool place to hang out. All right, I will wrap this up here. Thank you to everyone that sent in questions. Really fun questions this month. I will continue to do these. They're a whole lot of fun for me. I believe they offer some value as well. So again, thank you to everyone. I'm going to go jump in this pool.